Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video for more survivalists. This is going to be the first video of a series of videos addressing some of the main topics that I cover in my book Bugging Out and Relocating. Link to Amazon is going to be somewhere there below in case you're interested. So I thought about starting with the basics, and I'm going to be explaining what it means to bug out, relocate, and bug out abroad. Those are the three categories that I use in my book. I'm also going to be explaining when you should be doing those, when you should be bugging out, when you should be relocating or bugging out abroad. So bugging out basically means leaving your place of residence, moving towards a safer location. And this could be because of a number of reasons. It could be something as ordinary and common as a house fire. It may be a personal financial disaster in which you end up losing your home, or you just cannot pay rent anymore, or you have to leave your home because of heating problems in the middle of winter. You just cannot stay there anymore and you have to leave. Now, it may be a short-term issue that may be fixed in a few days. If there's problems with your heating, or you have to leave because of a blackout and it's in the middle of winter and you just cannot stay there anymore, maybe in a matter of a few days you're back home. If you have left or if you have a bug out because of an evacuation order, because of a possible natural disaster in that area, maybe just a few days later you are back there in your home. Now, when we're talking about relocating, we're talking about something that is in general a little bit more of a permanent or long-term basis. When relocating, you are making more of a cool-headed decision about finding a better place to live in. It's generally not as urgent as bugging out, which mostly involves having to leave your place of residence in very short notice. Relocating involves usually having a little bit more time, moving to different states, usually involves longer distances as well, moving to a different state, a different country entirely even. When bugging out, you may have the possibility of just bugging out from your home and moving to another place for a short period of time, just a short distance away, or not. It really will depend exactly on the event taking place. When we're talking about bugging out abroad, that would be a little bit more of a worst case scenario where you have to leave your country entirely and do so in a short notice. Possibilities of that, we're seeing it right now maybe in eastern Ukraine for a lot of people. Some people are relocating within the country, moving maybe to Kiev. Some of them have had to bug out because their homes have been destroyed in the military conflict. Some are finding themselves bugging out abroad entirely, moving to Russia, and their situation is that. So these are all possible scenarios, and even people in the same area may find themselves doing different things, having different choices ahead of them. When is it that you should be bugging out? Well, in terms of bugging out, basically the decision has been made for you. You don't have much of an option. When you bug out, it's because staying put, bugging in, is no longer an alternative for you. If your house is burning down, you don't have a choice. If there's a flood and it's affecting your neighborhood, you have water inside your house, you have to leave that place. If you have a financial problem in which you end up losing your home, again, same thing. Bugging out is not an option, is not a decision that you're going to be making yourself. So that's why it's so important to plan and be ready ahead of time with your bug out bag, your equipment, what I call the documents bag, a small satchel with your important papers, passports, your cash and such, so as to be ready in case you have to leave in just a matter of minutes or just a few seconds that you have. That's what you grab, that's what you take with you, and at least you have something. And this is important to understand because many times there's a lot of bad information out there. There's I mean, a ton of it. You often see, even in TV shows and prepper TV shows, about bugging out because of a financial problem, because the stock market collapse. You have to bug out. That's not a reason for bugging out. It really isn't. I can tell you from my own personal experience with an economic collapse, I didn't bug out because of that. And researching and studying similar events in other places, I can assure you that because of that, you just don't bug out because of a financial problem. Do you bug out because of rioting, looting, and civil unrest? In general, no. Again, I'm talking here from personal experience with those, but I'm also talking about a lot of research done studying different events. In general, in most cases, if there's civil unrest, something like what you're seeing in Ferguson right now in the United States, like you've seen in the past in other riots and such, in general, you're far better off, you're much safer staying put, waiting until things calm down, and not rushing and putting yourself in danger when it's completely unnecessary, when your shelter, your place of residence has not been compromised. That doesn't mean that in some cases, when there's a widespread situation of anarchy, maybe evolving into civil war, you may find yourself having to leave in a hurry. If there's civil unrest and there's incidents of arsoning, you may find yourself having to bug out as well because of that. But in general, in most cases, if there's civil unrest, staying put is always the best course of action. So, when is it that you should be relocating? Well, here it may end up being more of a personal decision. Regarding when it comes to modern survivalism, when it comes to preparedness, relocating based on those is going to be based mostly on finding better, safer conditions of living. You may end up deciding to relocate somewhere else because of better financial opportunities and because of a decline of those in the place where you find yourself right now. You may end up relocating elsewhere, looking for better general conditions of living, safer conditions of living as well, because of a higher rate of crime or a growing rate of crime where you are. Maybe someone living right now in Ferguson with all the problems of civil unrest. Maybe it's not these events we've seen these last few days, but it's most about the conflict and tension between the authorities and the civilian population in that area, that based on that, but because of that, you have decided to relocate somewhere else. So it could be a number of reasons why you end up deciding to relocate to another place. A possible reason would be socioeconomic degradation, a complex situation that involves all these things that we've mentioned so far. So that's probably the case in which you end up relocating. What I explained in the book, that one of the reasons, a good guideline to go by is, because sometimes people have a hard time deciding, okay, should I stay? Should I still try to make things work here where I am now? I don't want to be falling for the grass is greener on the other side of the hill and such. So when is it that should I seriously draw the line when it comes to relocating? Well, what I explain in the book is basically that going for a basic line that you decide that your standards of living are not acceptable below that line. It may be in terms of cost of living. It may be in terms of safety as well. When things are too dangerous, when people are getting killed in your neighborhood, when it's not safe anymore for your children, which encompasses a loss of quality of life as well. That may be the line you may be drawing and decide to leave, relocate elsewhere because of that. In terms of bugging out abroad, that will require a pretty serious event so as to make that decision. Bugging out abroad to an entirely different country is no joke, and generally it's because of a more large-scale, less likely type of event. A socioeconomic collapse, that may be the reason why you end up bugging out abroad. Civil war, or a foreign invasion, war from a foreign country, those may be situations where you decide to bug out abroad before you end up becoming an actual refugee and leaving without anything, leaving with nothing. Before it gets to that, you bug out abroad to somewhere else, at least trying to do as much as possible, doing so in your own terms. We have the situation with Ebola right now, and if your country is being hit, like it's happening in some African countries, with Ebola spreading pretty fast and things getting a little bit out of control, a pandemic, an epidemic may be another reason why you end up bugging abroad. And this will encompass, these are all different situations. When you're bugging out, you may do so with a bug out bag, your documents bag, and it's involving maybe moving medium or short distances. Bugging out abroad means you have already figured out where you're going to be going. Okay, when you bug out abroad, you leave your country, so you already have to keep in mind where it is that you're going, and at least have some plans set up ahead of time. You know, a second passport being clearly the most valuable, the most powerful tool you could possibly have. This is going to be addressed in another video. But again, similar to the preparations that you have for bugging out, for relocating, and bugging out abroad, you have to make other plans as well, which are going to be addressed in following videos, guys, because we're kind of running out of time in this one. Folks, if you liked the video and decided to share it with others, please do so. Thumbs up are always appreciated. Remember to subscribe, and have a great day. See you in our next video.